Om Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. So we have been studying the values. Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa, Kshantirajyavam, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, Stairyam, Atmavinigraha, Indriyardheshu Vairagyam, Anahankara Evacha, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. Asaktihi Anabhishwangaha Putradara Gruhadishu, Nityam cha Samachittatvam, Ishta Anishta Upapattishu. So we saw about 15 values so far. In the 11th verse, three more values are told. Three more values are given in 11th verse. 11th, again, I'm reminding the count, maybe including the first sloka of Madhusudana Saraswati ji, count number 11. Otherwise, 10. Mayi chananya yogena bhaktiravvyabhicharini viviktadesha sevitvam Aratirjana samsadi mayi chananya yogena bhaktiravyabhicharini viviktadesha sevitvam aratirjana samsadi mayi ananya yogena avyabhicharini bhakti. In me, show ananya yogena, meaning unshakable, unoscillating, unswerving, unshifting devotion. Avyabhicharini bhakti. Ananya yogena. Which bhakti? Ananya yogena. Through ananya bhakti. That is ananya bhakti. So, through ananya bhakti, avyabhicharini bhakti with ananya yoga. These two words are combined. So, Bhagavan Krishna qualifying that avyabhicharini bhakti, that bhakti as ananya yoga. Ananya yogena bhakti. So, two qualifications. Bhakti is required. Ananya bhakti and avyabhicharini bhakti. So, now, let us see now, one by one. Ananya yogena avyabhicharini bhakti. Ananya yogena avyabhicharini bhakti. Now, bhakti means what? Devotion. Love. Satu parama prema rupa. Naradji says, bhakti is defined as parama prema rupa. Supreme love. Supreme love. The principle of love in the universe. That love alone is holding the whole universe together. The love of Paramatma. So love means what? Sacrifice, forgiveness. In the worldly parlance, when love is directed towards Paramatma, the higher, love is an emotion. Love as an emotion is one. Gurudev says, if that emotion, that love, is directed towards the younger ones who are younger to us in knowledge, in age, etc., in understanding, then when I love them, those who are under me, it is compassion. They could not do it. Somebody cannot do. So show compassion. So compassionate behavior is love towards the smaller ones or younger ones, younger than me in age, understanding, knowledge, or wisdom, experience. Because more and more our ignorance, with ignorance are ruling, darker ignorance than you and I what we possess today. So they are more ignorant. So show compassion towards other one. Love is emotion, same. Directed towards lower, it is compassion. It's directed towards equals. It is called friendship. Real friendship. And love is an emotion directed towards Paramatma is devotion. Bhakti. Turn towards higher is bhakti. So such a bhakti, that's called love. Parama Prema Rupa. In that Paramatma Bhakti, total surrender is a quality of bhakti. Guna of bhakti is total surrender to Paramatma. Total acceptance and faith in him that whatever is happening to me in my life is ordained by, wished or willed by Ishvara, my Ishtadevata. Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahiye. That is real devotion. Without questioning, without any um, doubt on Paramatma. That is called avyabhicha, bhakti. That is called bhakti towards higher. Now, where are we devoted? We are also devoted. Ordinary people also are devoted to what? To perishable things of life. We are devoted to perishable things. Devoted means love. Since we are devoted to the perishable things of life, dedicated, devoted, I'm using this word particularly devoted. And things keep changing. Perishable things means what? They change in time. So, when I love the perishable things of life, and the nature of perishable things means what? They keep changing. Therefore, our happiness is also not permanent. They keep changing, objects keep changing, and I also change in my mind. Today I love one object. Tomorrow I love another object. A higher model, an updated version of a mobile, updated version of a car. So my love is shifting because objects are also shifting. Therefore, happiness is not permanent. Happiness also, I have to hunt for happiness moment, every moment. So when the things change in time, our happiness also goes away. Our ideal changes. When my ideal is changed, so mind also is changing. Mind wants it. Mind is disturbed about that new ideal. Therefore, mind is also constantly changing. Because of this condition, Bhagavan Krishna added a word Ananya Yoga. Ananya Yoga, the word Ananya Yoga is important. In 9th chapter, we saw Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Janaha Pari Upasate Tesham Nitya Yuktanam Yogam Yogakshemam Vahami Aham. I bear the burden of their yoga and kshema of those people who are devoted to me with Ananya Yoga. Ananya Yoga means what? There is no change, there is no shift, there is no oscillation. So that is called Ananya Yoga. Meaning, me and Paramatma are one. Paramatma is with me always. He knows me everything. He is not different from me. He is seated in my heart. He is my real being, real higher self. I am not this ego I. Therefore, I am always yoked to him. Even the existence of ego is not possible without the support of the ashraya of the Paramatma. Ego is nothing but a, an abhasa, a reflection. Reflection cannot exist without the original. So I am always with Paramatma. Like every electrical equipment is always with electricity. If electricity is not there, the equipment won't function. So I am always connected to Paramatma. Only thing is I am not aware. So Ananya Yoga. In Bhakti language, I don't have to shift my loyalty from God to anybody else. See Paramatma in everything. So this is called Ananya Yoga. Avyabhicharini Bhakti. Avyabhicharini. Vyabhichara means changing. Avyabhicharini, there is no change. Constancy is there. Devotion is unswerving, not swapping, not shifting, not oscillating, not changing. So why we in the worldly things, why do we do vyabhichara? Vyabhichara means changing. Because our desires are changing. So I take different people to support the support of different objects in the world to make my happiness a constant flow. It's a struggle. There is a unwanted struggle. Unpleasant feeling is always there in us. Because our happiness is always postponed. Because our bhakti is vyabhicharini, changes from guru to guru or from concept to concept, idea to idea. So many changes. But who is like a God? God is like a supermarket. In that supermarket, A to Z, Z or Z, all are available in one shop. That is divine shop. In one shop, it's a one shop solution for all the problems that we face. जब एक ही दुकान में सब कुछ मिल जाता है, then why change? So, when I hold on to the feet of Ishvara, Bhagavan Krishna, the Lord, Ishtadevata, I don't have to change. I don't have to run after anything. He provides me everything. He is providing. He will provide what are all required, my needs, my requirements. He takes care. He is. For the one who is devoted to the Lord completely. Therefore, we don't have to change the shops. In divine shop, we get everything. So, Avyabhicharini, in one divine shop, we get everything. He knows me completely. He provides me everything. That is bhakti. Avyabhicharini. Bhakti. Ananya Yogena, non-separation. That's very important. But Lord is not separate from me. As I said, electricity cannot be separated from the very equipment which is run on electricity. So as long as this machine is functioning, it is always connected to electricity. Otherwise, it cannot function. So this is the bhakti, supreme bhakti which we should have. Bhakti is surrender, love, acceptance of whatever is happening as prasada, Ishvara, prasada buddhi. We saw in the class earlier. Prasada buddhi. So, in me, unswerving devotion is there and bhakti of non-separation. That's a beautiful thing which we have to cultivate. That is 16th value. Now, 17th is Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, a solitary place, which is pure place. Desha, place. Vivikta, a solitary place. So, resorting to a solitary place is a great quality of a spiritual seeker. Resorting to a solitary place. Where do you find this place? We need not go into jungles. Your own room can be a solitary confinement for you. Sit in the room, contemplate, read books, tune your mind to Paramatma and relax. And love that solitude. Not solitude is not loneliness. You love being alone. Not out of hatred for, no, there's no hatred for anybody. But I love solitude. There's no hatred. So, which is a place which is free from all kinds of impurities. It could be a local temple. Go and sit quietly in a temple, in a corner, leaning to a pillar, sit down and just be with yourself. Go to a place where you are not recognized, you are not known. Spend some time in contemplating, in thinking about the universe, thinking about the Paramatma. Ekante sukhamasyatam. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says. Desire to be in solitude. When you are alone in the room, we don't like our own presence. Being alone, no, maza nahi aa raha hai. So come out of your room and sit in the sofa, meet people, talk to people, blabber. The mind wants entertainment. We are trained the mind to get always entertainment, surrounded by people. So I can't be alone. A great master, great master, in one of his previous lives, he spent, master only revealed, a great spiritual being. 34 years in a cave in the mountains without encountering a human face. 34 years he lived without encountering, seeing a face of another human being. Many Mahatmas are there in deep Himalayas. They love solitude. Ekante sukhamasyata. In our case, I cannot. My mind is always wanting some company, some people around me. कोई नहीं है तो वीडियो कॉल कर लेंगे, घंटे 2 घंटे वीडियो कॉल, वो दिखाओ, ये दिखाओ, क्या क्या बनाया, क्या क्या बनाया, दिखा दो, फोटो दिखाओ, पिक्चर भेजो, कैमरा घुमाओ, घुमा के दिखा दो. So, my dear, this is the Vivikta Desha Sevit. Ekante Sukhamasyata. In sometimes, at times, in our houses, in our house, we find all of them left somewhere. Suddenly, you find yourself alone. Enjoy that solitude. enjoy being alone. Vivikta desha sevit. Naturally pure place, free from all kinds of impurities, go and sit there for some time. Arati jana samsadi. Rati means what? Reveling, pleasure. Jana samsadi arati, meaning distaste for this society of men and women, people. Distaste. Meaning what? You don't revel always in a group of people talking nonsense in parties and this and that. Because Rati is pleasure born out of contact. Contacting a friend, being with somebody X, Y, Z. So I love people. I want to be always surrounded. But a Mahatma, a spiritual seeker or a deep spiritual seeker, he doesn't like to be surrounded by so many people talking all kinds of nonsense and rubbish. Ha ha ha, oh, yeah, wo hai. The inner peace is disturbed. So there's no hatred towards anybody, as I said before. But he doesn't enjoy the company of society. So he will be there, depending on karma. But he loves to be alone as much as possible. So arati means what? No such pleasure is desired. We need always the company of people for joy. Social get-togethers are there, parties are there, tours are there, picnics are there, group dining is there. Sometimes it's okay. But every time, every day, party, every day meeting a friend, every day. Therefore, Janakrupa Naishturyam Utsrujyatam, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says. Because the more we meet people, unwanted people, unwanted means you desire and always go, and then somebody tells you something, you have to tell something. It's an ego game. Then you boost yourself, and somebody is boosting. Then you say no, no contract, no, no, ऐसा मेरे साथ भी ऐसा हुआ था, तब ये हुआ था, मैं भी मुझे मालूम था, ये तो मुझे all unnecessary tsunamis of egoic tsunamis rise. Swamiji, but we are living in society. Of course, you must regulate, discipline yourself. Regulate. Don't crave for these things. If you want to be a real spiritual seeker, and the craving should end. Craving for contacts. So these three are set. 18 values we saw so far. Aratir Jana Samsane. So, Vivikta de Maicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktiravya Vicharini, one value. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, second one. Arati Jana Samsadi, third one. Now, out of 20, 18 values are completed. 18 of them. Now, last verse regarding the value series. 12th verse. Adhyatmajnana तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतत् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतोऽन्यथा अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम् तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतत् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् Ajnanam yadatonnyada. Two values. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam, first one. 19th one. Tattva jnanartha darshanam, This is the 13th value. 13th chapter values are very deep, very jnana oriented, internal disciplines. 12th chapter values, Adveshta Sarabhutanam, it's with respect to living, social conduct, mostly. The values that we should entertain when we are living in the world as per our karma, as per our destiny. So don't hate, Maitraha, Karuna, Nirmamaha, Nirahankara. A bhakta lives in the world like this. But these 20 values are inside. Amanitvam, Adhambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Arjavam, Acharyopasam, Shaucham, Stairyam, Atmavinigraha, Indriyartheshu Vairagyam, Anahankara, Janmavruchu Jara, Vyadi Dukkha Doshandarshan, Maichananya Yogena, Bhaktravya Vicharana, Vyukta Desha Sevitvam, Arthirjana Samsada. All these values suppose we see. So these values are so fantastic. Asakti anabhishvanga, putradara gruhadishu, nityam cha samachittattvam, ishta anishta upapattishu. All these values. Check, there are check meters. Your dashboard. So in the dashboard, check these parameters. When everything is an optimum level or not. If something is low, increase it. Bring it to the optimum level. You cannot tell me whether I have vanity or not. I cannot tell you whether you have vanity or not. Sometimes it may be expressed, it's okay. But that also decisively cannot be made. So I must know myself. Am I talking with vanity? Am I doing vyavahara with vanity? Man? Am I measuring myself constantly? When measuring comes, comparison comes. We have to check. They're called inside meters, check meters. Okay. So now, 19th value. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. What is Adhyatma jnanam? So constancy in self-knowledge. That is the meaning of Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. Nityatvam means constancy. So now I'll ask one question. So what do we mean by, first of all, Adhyatma Shastra? 8th chapter we saw. Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhidaivam cha kim proktam adhiyajnam kim uchyate. That 8th chapter. Adhyatma. So Adhyatma Jnanam is the science of self. Please listen carefully. Science of self. So there are two knowledges. One knowledge which is transient, constantly changing. Other knowledge is permanent, changeless. So spiritual knowledge is that knowledge which is eternal, which doesn't change. And it is the knowledge about our own self. Who am I? That means Adhyatma knowledge is that knowledge which discriminates between Anatma and Atma. Atma and Anatma Vivechanam. That is the privilege or the power of spiritual knowledge. This spiritual knowledge alone discriminates between the real I in me and the false I and the world outside. Now, in management language, I'm going very slow these values. In management language or in for understanding, knowledge of the self is absolutely important. Spiritual knowledge. That knowledge by which I will be able to handle all my inner emotions, negativities, frustrations, depressions, dejections, insecurities, fear, hatred, comparison, various complexes, higher inferiority, superiority, all these things inside, stress, strain, lack of confidence, all these negativities are there in me. How do I handle them? My emotions, uncontrolled emotions, bursts of anger. How do I control all of them? So this is the knowledge, fundamental knowledge, which used to be given. This was our Arsha Vidya, Rishi Vidya. First, they gave this knowledge. Therefore, our country was flourishing in character. And that knowledge is removed from the system. We don't say, oh, Britishers have come and removed. We cannot blame anybody. We have become weak. We have lost confidence in our own knowledge. One more point I just would like to tell you this concept. The Sandarbha has come, context has come. Long back, about 1998 or 99, I was invited by some place, some city in India, organized by the Chinmaya Mission Center there. Teachers conference. Principals also were there. Some about not much have come. About 25, 30 may have come. 20 people, with including mission members and all, maybe 35 people. But a good gathering, quality gathering. Maybe 40 if I'm correct. But not more than that. So I traveled all the way from where I was at that time to that place where I was invited. So before that, I was thinking what to talk. So I met a Mahatma, a great Mahayogi, well read. He is also called as Guruji. So I went and asked Guruji, I'm invited there, please bless me. It is about 98, 99, 98 perhaps. Please bless me. I have to deliver a talk to the teachers. Bless me. You know, under the name of this so-called secular, we are away from our own ancient knowledge, which is required. I'm just coming to the point only. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatva. Now, that Guruji gave me a beautiful point, brilliant point he gave, which I shared and people were happy and then got stunned also. That's a lack, Guruji asked me to go and tell them, for whatever certain reason, we have removed this Arsha knowledge, Vidya, the ancient Rishi Vidya culture, our Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, character building education. Vivekananda roared 100 years back, more than that. He was roaring throughout. We need character building education, character building education. That is the strength of the nation. That's the strength of the country. Then only from that alone we get honesty, commitment, love, kindness, sharing, justice. All these things will come only from that character. Character has to be built. अभी सबको खोखला बना दिया, अंदर कुछ नहीं है. So I went and what point was told by Guruji was, he asked me to ask them, okay, in the schools and colleges, under whatever the government rule, whatever it is, you are not taught systematically this beautiful knowledge of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad, Bhagavad Gita, etc. He asked me to ask them, just because this is not taught in schools, do they prefer to keep quiet, or do they also love to teach at home? Talk about Ramayana, good values, good system, good stories. They said, of course, we teach our children at home. So then Guruji asked me to tell them that in the school or colleges also, you are obliged to follow that syllabus, whatever it is, you have to follow, you follow. Because syllabus is not contained, this beautiful subjects of character building education, who is preventing you to teach? Every school teacher can share in every class some values, some stories can be told, parables can be told. Who is preventing us from teaching this education? As a teacher, suppose I go as a mathematics teacher, physics or chemistry teacher. I can tell a class, and before the class, I can share this Adhyatma Jnanam. Because Bhagavan Krishna has used constancy. So this spiritual knowledge is required to make ourselves majboot from inside, to strong, so that I can handle myself first well. I don't have to run here and there. Extra desires, hatred, all these emotions are rising, surging in me. With the help of this आध्यात्म ज्ञानम alone, मैं अपने आप को संभालना सीख लिया हूं या सीख सकता हूं इस आध्यात्म ज्ञान के द्वारा. Now what is happening? I'll tell a story. A guru asked a disciple, a student, in a jungle, in an ashram, said, my dear, go and get wood, cut the trees and get some wholesome trees, not too fat and too small, majboot but smooth looking, so that we can use them as pillars to put our hut. Go and get good looking trees of reasonable good size, pillar size, like a pillar. Equal size ढूंढो, जंगल में मिल जाएगा आपको, कट करके लेके आओ, so that we can put a thatched hut over it. So the disciple said, okay, the smooth ones, round ones, smooth ones. He was searching and he brought 8 of them. He brought. The Guru saw them. These are not useful at all. Who Buddhu? No, but Guruji, you only said it should be round shaped and nazuk, very, very smooth outside, so that there's no, not rough edges, they're very smooth. I searched with great difficulty, I brought. He said, my dear, they are looking smooth from outside, but they cannot support. Looking very smooth and shining outside. Why? He brought plantain trees. ऊपर पत्ते को काट के plantain tree, the trunk of the plantain tree was brought. Plantain tree inside khokla. It has no dam to support. This is how we are making today our own children. Empty within, outside nazuk, and being smart. Smart is not required. Goodness is required. A smart means one who could deceive others without being caught. That is a psychological undercurrent. He's very smart. This is how Adhyatma Jnanam is not there. Again, one more incident I'll tell you. And when I was in other center working there, not in Noida like now, some other place, about 25, 26 years back, 25 years back. In that center, somebody came and told, a businessman, a good businessman, minting crores. He said, Swamiji, I will tell you one incident which happened in Kumbh, in Prayagraj Kumbh. Wow. होता रहता है frequently Ardha Kumbh, Mahakumbh. One of the previous Mahakumbhs, he was telling his experience. So one guy is selling the flute, simple flute, straight one, पी पी पी. बच्चे खेलते हैं ना, just not this kind of flute, just with so couple of holes on it. He's selling in Kumbh. Among the foreigners, white people came, many foreigners are there. A group of foreigners, a chunk. They want to see Kumbh and all, spiritual. So he was selling in front of them, before them, or in the midst of them, stating that this is Krishna flute. Many Krishna type, used type of flute. The type of flute Krishna used, this is the. So Krishna flute, Krishna flute, Krishna flute. He was selling it in the Kumbh. And selling it for what? 500 rupees or 400 rupees, 500 rupees. He was selling like that. Huge money. It's actually hardly 5, 10 rupees or 20 rupees maximum. In those days, 25 years back. Innocently, gullible people, though, just went and then they said 500 rupees. Somebody purchased, give 5. Oh, it's okay, Krishna flute. It's good, good. Take 500 rupees. 25 years back. Keep it with you. And he took the flute. And they went away. The policeman, it seems somebody is watching there from a distance, that he is cheating them. He went and stood in front of him. The seller. This man quietly take out 100 rupees and gave it to policeman. Policeman took 100 rupees and went away. So he made about, if it is 20 rupees or 10 rupees flute, out of 500 rupees. So 490 is a profit. 100 rupees he gave to policeman. 390 rupees he pocketed himself. This person saw all this. Policeman going, he selling Krishna flute, he taking 500 rupees from him, the seller. Then they left away. The policeman came in, he gave 100 rupees to him. This incident narrated to me. And I said, how intelligent is the seller, Swamiji? Very intelligent, is it not? If you call it as intelligence and smartness, it's very smart, very intelligent. I said, first of all, it is not smartness, it is not goodness, and it is not intelligence, it is crookedness. So if our system of education is teaching us the crookedness is intelligence, where are we today? I corrected him. It's wrong. It's unethical. What will other country people think about these people here in India? What kind of picture you are saying to other people? So spiritual knowledge, first of all, is the foundation. Without spiritual knowledge alone can solve all the problems of the world. Because it gives you right attitude, sacrifice, love, sharing, justice. And it also helps me personally. If I gain spiritual, it helps me in handling my emotions, in my thoughts, in my commitment. Otherwise, every time I'm depressed, suppressed, dejected, somebody says something and my mind is disturbed, mood is off. What kind of life it is? I'm so fragile inside. Because cocoa inside, the plantain tree trunk. It can't be a foundation. It looks so beautiful, shining from outside. So this is a necessity for every human being on the globe is to enrich ourselves, to empower ourselves with spiritual knowledge. First, to protect myself from all kinds of inner negativities and also all kinds of external onslaughts. That makes me strong from inside. It makes me wise. It makes me intelligent. It helps me in discrimination. Spiritual knowledge is the one which discriminates between Atma and Anatma, temporary and permanent, real and unreal. This discrimination is required. So Nityatva means what? Constancy. Constancy means what? Firmness. I hold on to that knowledge of spirituality as a foundation of my existence on this planet. Today we are making children, sorry to say, like a plantain tree trunks. And we wanted to build foundations on them, building on that, keeping on those pillars. Are they pillars, first of all? So outside, suited, booted, coated, our Puja Guruji, Swami Teja Manaji. He had given in about in 99 in some city. I'm not deliberately mentioning the city names and centers names. That mission center had organized in the morning, evening yajna. Morning they organized Guruji's, Tejamananji's beautiful talks to various series of professionals. One day doctors, one day corporate, one day teaching community, like that. The big people, he just corporate section, maybe kuch people. Sir. So Guruji was talking to us. We were all there with him, attended those talks also. So we were, oh, Swamiji, somebody said, Swamiji, it is difficult to talk to them. They don't listen to us and this and that. And they think of too much of themselves, perhaps, because of their positions. And they think that they are more wiser and all. You know what Guruji said? वो कुछ भी नहीं है. आगे के जो पर्दा है ना, आगे का जो पर्दा, उस पर्दा को उतार दो. वो पर्दे के पीछे आपको वही दिखेगा, वही बैड मन, कंफ्यूज्ड माइंड, confounded with so many negativities and suppressed and frustrated individualities you see behind the curtain. आगे जो दिखता है वो वास्तविकता नहीं है. पहले हमको क्या करना है, आगे का जो पर्दा उतार देना है. पीछे जाओगे, सेम खोखला, इनसाइड कुछ भी नहीं है. So, if this is required for every citizen on the planet, spiritual knowledge, to build our planet, to create that good humanity, without that, without giving spiritual knowledge, you are only quoting outside and expecting them to be great pillars of society tomorrow. I don't know how to call it, what to call. I can call, but then highest degree of stupidity. And we parents also expect same thing. If this is the truth that even for living sustenance and for vyavahar ke liye adhyatmik jnana is helpful, then what to talk about the spiritual seeker? He must only revel in the deeper layers of spiritual knowledge, transforming himself, his thoughts, ideas, notions, go deep into through meditations. So this is the jnanam, nityatvam in adhyatma jnana, firmness, constancy is very important. So that I told you already. Jnayate anena iti jnanam. So jnana is what? Karana, instrument. Adhyatma jnanam is an instrument as a sadhana, means of sadhana. To get knowledge always, soak yourself in knowledge. Because knowledge transforms. Keep on putting that knowledge. If somebody tells me 20 days, 30 days, daru piyo, daru piyo, daru piyos, are like advertisements, they rub our heads with kind of thoughts. Ultimately, they know. Yes, same advertisement repeat 1,000 times, at least some population will be affected psychologically. They will go to shop and purchase that. If this is true for advertisements in TV and wherever media, social media, if they can change our psyche because of our constant banging on our heads with some kind of products, if we can change, do you think constantly bombarded with spiritual knowledge will not change us? Will change. It has more potency in it. So don't worry. This spiritual knowledge keep on pumping you into yourself and also into others if you are a good parent. In the method teaching, not boring and not again confronting, in an intelligent way, like a mother feeds the child with an intelligent way, feeds the food to the child. She shows the child the moon, the star, the billy, the kutta, or some kind of a thing, some this, that thing, and make a ascharya, wonder the child, and in the wonderment, he opens the mouth, and in that mouth, opened mouth, food. Use those techniques. As Gurudev used those techniques to teach us Vedanta. He was a master in it. For spiritual seeker, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Continuously do it. Then there will be some kind of energy inside. The change will start. Metamorphosis will take place. So, the instruction is very clear. What? Live the spiritual knowledge always. If you want to really reach Brahman, if you want to know our own self, self-realization. But every knowledge in the world is useful, no doubt about it, but it is in a limited way, in a limited field. In a particular time, at a particular time, in a particular way, in a particular, only for a particular person, this knowledge is useful. So, like sugar is the base for all the sweets. Spirituality makes every knowledge useful in one way. Either the worldly knowledge is accepted in a particular time frame, situation, for a particular condition, by a particular person, or the spiritual knowledge helps in rejecting that knowledge which is not relevant for that person at that time and place. So, both to hold on to the worldly knowledge or to reject the worldly knowledge, depending upon the time and situation, circumstances, and need, and then person involved, etc. This discrimination is required. So, I use the worldly knowledge, but I will not get caught up, nor I consider this worldly knowledge as something great and build my ego on it. The structure of ego is built on the worldly knowledge. I am a double PhD, triple PhD, 4 PhD, 10, 20 degrees, 30 degrees. Say, let us not build life on it. You may have, but treat that knowledge as transient. I think I spoke enough on this beautiful point. Then 20th value is Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. Meaning what? Remembering always the purpose of the true end of knowledge. Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam. What is the real meaning? What is the Tattva Jnana gives me? Remember that always in that mind. The value of it, the purpose of it, the true end of that knowledge, Adhyatma Jnana, where that knowledge takes me, Tattva Jnana takes me. Remember that always. The Tattva Jnana redeems me from all kinds of conflicts, from all kinds of confusion, from all kinds of encumbrances, from all kinds of conditions. It releases me as a spirit eternal, infinite, not caught up in any concept and idea and notion and this and that. No, I am free, eternal spirit I am. It releases me, Tattva Jnana. That release is real moksha, real freedom. So I'm not get caught up in anywhere. Nothing smears me. Nothing taints me. Nothing paints me and colors my personality inside. Because I go beyond personality. Not physical personality, mind and intellect. I have discovered my existence as something superior to all these things. So remember always the end, the true purpose of life, the true purpose of Tattva Jnana. The worldly knowledge may give you some money, may solve some problems at the time. This is required. Depends on worldly knowledge is required. But all kinds of worldly knowledge for all the people, all the time is not required. Think. Therefore, this purpose has to be kept always. So Buddhi should be always aware of the ultimate goal of life. That end, that's Tattva Jnanam takes me. So therefore, Bhagavan, Yetat Jnanam iti proktam. This is called, said to be the Jnanam. Which is Jnanam? 20 values. The Gurudev called them as 20 values for a spiritual seeker. Inner transformative values. Ajnanam, what is Ajnanam? Yad ataha anyatha. That which is opposite to this is called ignorance. Opposite of this. So, humility, pretension, unpretentiousness, pretending, dambha, hypocrisy is ajnana. Opposite humility. Adambitvam, pretension. And non-pretentiousness is spiritual value. Pretending everything is ignorance. Pretending something that we are pretending as though we are something, actually where we are not. Pretending to be something. So opposite of these things are called ignorance. Ajnanam yad ataha anyatha, which is other than this, opposite to this, is ajnana. Ajnanam binds. Ajnanam is darkness, no light inside. I get caught up in my own thoughts, frustrations, fancied notions, dogma, a thought of personal dogma we create inside. So ignorance keeps us in samsara. Knowledge releases us. So may that knowledge enter into us, all of us, by the grace of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So thus we have completed Jnanam. Now what is Jnayam? That which ought to be known. What is the Jnaya Swarupam? That will be told in the next class by Bhagavan Krishna. We can study that, what Krishna teaches us from 13th verse from next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadgurunath Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you.